Tonight, Senate leaders are calling for swift passage of a compromise bill to raise the debt ceiling and implement spending cuts, but there is opposition from some Republicans and Democrats. Here's Skylar Henry.
The debt limit and spending caps bill that passed in the House now faces challenges in the Senate, including from some Republicans demanding more defense spending.
This budget locks in a smaller U.S. Navy at a time the Chinese Navy is growing dramatically. There's not a penny in this budget to help beat Putin.
Marathon efforts to push through the bill that would suspend the federal debt limit through next year to avoid an unprecedented default are underway.
I'm going to have to swallow hard on some parts of it. I'm sure other members say the same thing, but the responsible thing to do for America is to pass it.
Senators are prepared to seek a number of amendments to the bill.
Any change to this bill that forces us to send it back to the House would be entirely unacceptable. It would almost guarantee default.
Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said the chamber will stay in session until it passes the compromise legislation backed by President Biden and House Speaker Kevin McCarthy.
Our national debt now stands at about $32 trillion. How did we get here? Whose fault is it? Republicans? Democrats? Well, the answer is yes. Both parties are at fault for different reasons.
Party leaders are aiming to get the bill to the president's desk before Monday. That's when the Treasury Department says the government will run out of money. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Well, tonight, the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office says spending cuts in the bill would reduce deficits by $1.5 trillion over the next decade. The pause on student loan payments has been a relief to millions of Americans for years now, but that could come to an end this summer. Tonight, our Verify team explains why the debt ceiling deal could affect when you have to start making those payments again.
A deal to lift the federal debt limit and assure the United States can pay its bills is now working its way through Congress. The deal comes after weeks of negotiations between President Joe Biden and House Speaker Kevin McCarthy. As part of those negotiations, several measures were added to the bill not directly related to the debt ceiling. And some Verify viewers heard one of those measures involved the repayment of student loans. Let's verify. Does the debt ceiling deal require student loan payments to restart? Our sources are the text of the bill, the White House, the Department of Education, and Michelle Shepard, a student debt expert at the Institute for College Access and Success. Federal student loan payments have been on pause since 2020. It was an emergency measure sparked by the pandemic, and both Presidents Trump and Biden have extended that pause several times. Last November, the Department of Education announced the pause would end and payments would resume no later than late August of 2023. The debt ceiling bill codifies that decision into law, meaning the Biden administration cannot choose to extend this pause again. It says payments will restart 60 days after June 30th, 2023. So we can verify, yes, the debt ceiling deal requires student loan payments to restart. Some loan servicers may take longer to begin collecting, but regardless, you should receive notice 3 weeks before your first payment is due later this year. With your Verify, I'm Casey Decker.
Well, the Biden administration has taken steps to forgive large chunks of federal student debt entirely, but those steps have been challenged in court. The Supreme Court is expected to rule on the issue sometime this month.